Boom! Desync versus Shenanigans. We're gonna start it. Gonna get it quickly started to see what's going on. Make sure to pick up some FTU matches because this season. What do you mean FTU matches? Are you targeting me? Oh, a stretch is here. Okay, so let me. Whoa, I haven't even seen the lineups here. What's going on? So hold on, let me get some information. I need to. Oh, Desync is okay. So for Desync, we have some familiar faces, at least for me. We have Canadian Jones. I just respawned Dello, Estrecha, and we have a chef. Okay, that's what we got. For Shenanigans, there's Shenanagizers. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything else just in case. All right. So we're gonna call them Shenanigans. We got Godspeed, no lives matter, Sun Bleached, Moon to the Sun, and Sizzler. Pretty much, he likes Sizzler. Okay. So we're just waiting on everybody to hop on in, get ready. Let's start asking if they're ready. And we're gonna start picking the song from now. What do we want here? We want some epic song? What could we get for cool random songs? Oh, okay. I think we're gonna do that. So we got Canadian. Desync is ready. Makes us feel like we're watching Blue Lock. I think that song is gonna fit, bro. I'm just gonna let that playlist rip, and we're gonna get randoms, bro. So we're gonna, when somebody grabs the ball and they get the perfect song, it's gonna be a boss battle. All right, that's just how it is. That's how the game works. All right, so we're waiting on Shenanigans to ready up. They are ready. Let's get it ready. Let's get it started. Is my mic good? Do I sound pretty? Let me know in the comments. I mean in the chat. Oh my god, I'm thinking like a YouTuber. Transitioning in. Boom. We're going directly into the match, boys. Into the match we go. This is what I like to see. This is what I like to see. And the match will commence very soon. Okay? So let's see who we got. In the pinks, we have Desync. Yep. In the pinks, we have Desync. And on the other color that is going to pull up, it's going to be in the whites. It's going to be Shenanigans. Let's get this ready, shall we? All right. Let's see. Let's stretch out. Moving in with the ball, Moon trying to pressure. Sending it directly at Chef with a one touch. Another goes over to Canadian Jones, but it just doesn't connect. Canadian Jones is a striker. What's going on? Sizzler. Passing it over to Moon. Passing it over to, I'm just going to call them Lives. Moon and Sun are just looking around and direct shot. But respawn from Desync with a crazy saves. Going to Chef. Looking at a stretcher. Looking at Canadian Jones. Are they going for a rally play? Are they going off the wall? Goes to a stretcher. Beautifully scored for Desync. Beautiful. Okay. They're starting off strong. Look at this shot directly into a stretcher. He didn't even have to kick. He didn't have to do anything. The first goal goes in. Oh, we're gonna keep this song looping, bruh. So, Sizzler. Now looking for the attack. Then he gets devoured. Directly by a stretcher, but the goalkeeper, Godcast, is the one to grab it and keep it back. Moon with a nice rainbow chest trying to pressure. But who do we pass it to the next? Sending it to No Lives Matter, but Dello in control of this pitch. Sending it directly to Canadian Jones. Canadian Jones and a stretcher. What do? They go far. Another goal for a stretcher. Desync. Beautifully sending it on the back of the net. We're looking at money moves. Canadian Jones just smashing it on the back of the net once more. Desync looking in control, but let's see what can Shenanigans pull with net. Sizzler looking at his friends Chef and Dello on the defense. Sending it a lob to Sun. It goes blocked by Dello. An amazing jump. Dello trying to keep her control with the slides he can. A stretch and Canadian in a 1v1. Do they pass it to each other? A beautiful block from God. The save from the goalkeeper. Sun trying to keep possession. Passing it back. Passing the goods back to the goalkeeper. Sending it to home base. Lives matter. Sending it directly towards Sun. Canadian Jones devours, but the ball just slid a little bit. Sending it back to the goalkeeper. What do we see here? We see Sun on the move. Canadian with an amazing dive off the air to stop it. Respawn. Desync in possession of the ball. Sending it directly to Chad. What jump goes through from Sun, but it doesn't connect. Sizzler looking for the defense. Sending a stretcher once again, but a beautiful ball from Sizzler. Chad, does he go in by himself? No, he doesn't. But he remains with the possession. A triple move, but he gets tackled by Moon. Moon in control. Nobody's up. Actually, no lives up matters up. He smashes it against the wall. What was that for? Sending it to Canadian Jones. Canadian Jones on the move, looking free! What a goal from Canadian Jones! Smashing it top left bin for Desync. Complete mix-up. Canadian Jones just smashing it in. Godspeed just had to push out. He was worried that anything could happen. Once again, Shenanigans with a chance to bring it all, Sun. Sending it directly into No Life Matters. Going back to Sun. Sun barely misses. Hitting with the corner screen, fighting with himself. Sending it box to a chest. Is the one to defend it. Godspeed. The goalkeeper's up. Question marks. Going up the field. Go for the shot himself, but Respawn just ready for it. Sending it directly to Canadian Jones. Canadian Jones looking at a stretcher. Sizzler trying to defend this. Goes to a stretcher. Stretcher sends it, but Moon to the Sun. Is the one to save it now. A GK swap. 3 minutes on the clock for Shenanigans. They can still. This is very much doable. A crazy pass to Godspeed. Godspeed sending it through. Going for the shot, but it gets blocked by Dello. Dello passing it directly to the stretcher. Stretcher with a nice touch to equalize, to concentrate. Sending it directly to Canadian Jones. Lob goes in. Back to Canadian Jones. Another goal for Desync. Crazy. They're just taking the lead, taking the advantage. They don't care. They don't care. Smash it. Doesn't matter who's in net, does it? Shenanigans, 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. What can they realistically do here? A goal? 2? A comeback perhaps? What can happen? Here we go. Moon. Looking in control, sending it directly down mid to Chad to the opposing team. A stretcher ready to punish Canadian with the freest goal of his life. It was a gift almost. 5-0. Desync. They're no longer Desync. They're completely in sync. Look at this. Another smash. Another bang. Shenanigans looking in shambles, but they still have 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. They could, repair some damages going in. Chef trying to intercept, and he successfully does. Sending it directly to Dello. Canadian, the man that had been scoring, the one with the assist. Another off the backboard. Sun to Moon with a defense. Dello grabs the ball 1v1 with Godspeed, but it gets dribbled. What can we see here? God with a breakaway, with a counter, but he doesn't have any juice. Wait, the juice doesn't matter? Sending it off to himself. A nice header. Another header. Another rainbow. What is this mix-up? Sizzler trying to squeeze in a goal here, but Dello saw it coming. Canadian Jones smashing it to a stretcher, but it doesn't connect. Moons with a nice lob back to Sun. Sending it directly over to No Lives. Sizzler. Oh, off the post, but Respawn grabs it. Snatches it from the air. But nobody gets a little funky. A stretcher grabs the ball with a rainbow, but Moon is the one to get it. Oh my god, he was barely off. Sun to Moon grabbing it directly. Chef passing it over to Creative Jones. Canadian Jones, sorry. Sending it to God. Godcast with a rainbow flick. Looking for something. Sending up the wall. Off the wall again. Sizzler's trying to grab it, but Dello once again with a defensive touch. Somehow they're keeping this possession going, but that Chief once again sending it over to Canadian Jones. Canadian Jones on the 1v1. Goes out the coast. Goes out the post. It was a crazy curve. Sending it over to a stretcher. Stretcher shooting up the wall, but Moon is the one to grab it. 40 seconds on the clock. Dello intercepting. Sizzler intercepting him. Intercepting Chef. But the ball goes back to Chef. A nice tip there that could be helpful. And it is. Sun. No life matter actually. Sending it to Sizzler. Sizzler to Godspeed. Does he go for himself? He tries to pass, but Chef is in between the passing lane. Godspeed trying to go for a rainbow, but it just doesn't work. Chef Handing it directly to a stretcher. Stretcher looking at his peers, and he sends it over to Canadian. Canadian back to stretcher, but it gets countered by Sun. Sun sending it directly to Sizzler. He needs to run. He needs to get some jogging going with a nice push. Where does it go to? Goes directly to the Chef, the opposing team. Is that a goal? Almost. Moon to Sun with the last shot. 5-0 from Desync. That is a destruction. Destruction. 3 goals from Canadian Jones and a stretch of 2 more. 12 interceptions from Chef. Della with 10 interceptions and 4 saves. And lots of saves. But let's see for game 2. Can Shenanigans pull up a crazy comeback? Can they? We're gonna have to find out. We're gonna have to look around, see what's remaining, see what's the plan now. All right, we're gonna boom. Let's see what we get. All right, let's do one of these. Let's give some motivation, okay? Bam. Let's get this started. Desync, passing it over by Law towards Shenanigans. Shenanigans need to lock in, need to create a new strategy, something that would wake up their offense. Godspeed, he really needs to stop doing those rainbows. The stretcher with the punish, but Moon with a crazy save. Godspeed trying to grab the ball, but it just doesn't connect. Dello looking at a free pass to a stretcher. Sister trying to defend. He read it with a beautiful jumping contested. Canadian Jones Sister on the move. Another fight, another tackle going directly back towards the goalkeeper. He sees an opening. He sees no life. I know he did. Sun looking at his friends, looking at his peers. Does he find somebody? He found God's cast off the wall. Bicycle, but it almost went in by the header. Respawn with a nice save. Dello keeping control of this defensive line. He finds a stretcher. He finds his spear, sending it to a stretcher far. A stretcher with a shot to start the first goal of Desync. Man, what a bang. That shot was so far. Look at that pass. Oh, so far off. But the ball sends back to Shenanigans. They still alive. 5 minutes on the clock. What can they do? Sending it over to Moon. Moon, can he connect? No, it sends good. Goes back to No Life Matter, but it just goes off the wall and it just doesn't connect. We got a few bad habits here. Godspeed just loves to rainbow and No Life just smashes it against everything. Going to Canadian Jones, a nice save from Sun. They're switching goalkeeper now, trying to bring different ideas. No Life Matter, sending it to Gotcat. Gotcat, oh, another shot directly just to Respawn, but he is vigilant. He's been saving those consistency. Sending it directly to Chef. Chef. Oh, he doesn't seem to collect the ball. Look at Della's looking like what happened, bro? Here we go. That's stretcher. With an EE passing it to Canadian. Canadian doesn't connect with the ball either. 4 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. They're going for a nice fast counter here. Can they catch up? No, they can't. Sizzler with a touch. Dribble move. EE's. Does he pass it over? Pass it over to No Life, but it gets countered by Canadian Jones. Canadian Jones on the move with his ball, passing it back to the goalkeeper. Why doesn't it let me go outside the map? Running over, walking, taking their sweet time. Sending it directly to Chef, but it just misses. Got Cash trying to punish. Moon trying to punish. Everybody trying to punish, but nobody could. A stretcher with a nice touch and a free goal. They get saved by Moon at the last second, at the last grip. No Life Matter with a nice counter here for Godspeed. Godspeed going fast. Smashes it directly in for Shenanigans' first goal. A beautiful pad from No Life, locking in what they needed it the most. Boom and bang. Respawn trying to read far, but it just doesn't connect. So they don't get sleepy. Sending it over to Moon. Oh my God! What is that save? With the toes! With the back of the toes! Oh my God, they try to take advantage, trying to take him on the Desync, but here we go. Shenanigans with another move. Do they have another Shenanigans lined up? They almost did. Sun recovering the ball, sending it directly in the respawn. Respawn was so confident that was gonna hit the wall. Canadian grabbing the ball, trying to send it to a stretch. Sun with a nice recovery. Slide goes in. Chef recovers, looks at his peers. Who does he pass to? Passes it directly to Canadian Jones, but a nice save from Moot. A pass going over to the right side. Can Sun win this? Yes, he can. Sending it down line, but Godcast just gets tackled. Dello intercepted by Sizzler. No lives matter on the move. A nice pass, but it just gets intercepted. A nice pass back to Sizzler. Does it go top box? Does it go for himself? He has it too. No lives matter, but he goes backwards. That's actually the correct move to do when there were so many people. Good goalkeeper sliding it directly at Dello. And Stretcher looking for a pass, looking for a play, running it down, going towards the left side. And Stretcher with a touch. It goes in for Desync. Another beautiful goal. Woo! The Stretcher, Canadian Jones are just pulling up the numbers that they need. Here we go. Desync on the lead. 2 minutes on the clock. A nice rainbow. A double rainbow. But Canadian Jones saw that through. Running EE. Does he take the shot himself? Sends it to a stretcher. It misses barely. The goalkeeper jumps. Very risky, but it was rewarded. A nice curvature. Sending it to Sun. Sun getting pressured by a stretcher, but Sizzler recovers. Looking at his fear. Looking at Godspeed. Goes by himself. A solo run, but Dello is the one to intercept. Set looking at Canadian Jones for free. Canadian Jones looking at a stretcher. It's sending it in off the post, going back to him, going back to the stretcher. 1v1 with the goalkeeper. Oh, fake shot goes in. It goes into the boot. It hits the boot and it just goes on to the right side. A goal from a stretcher. Beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. Look at this. Off the boot. Oh, he hit him in the head. Bro, that is disrespectful. 1 minute and 30 seconds. For Shenanigans. What can they do here? A nice tackle attempt from Canadian Jones trying to grab possession. Does it go to Sizzler? Yes, he does. No, Dello is actually the one to dunk on him. Here we go. Life matter, sending it directly to Moon. Moon trying to grab this ball, but he doesn't have enough stamina. What can happen here? Could be crucial. A header, but Dello reads it. Raising his hand like, yo, try to go through me. Canadian Jones looking free. Dello looking for space. Somebody needs to be on the move. I'm just getting spammed. What's going on? Sending it in to Sizzler. Sizzler jumping in. Respawn. Running through. Sending it over to a stretcher. Stretcher couldn't bat the ball. 20 seconds on the bell. Godcast. Oh, dribbling. Sending it to No Life. No Life does a smash it. Respawn with a crazy save. 36 seconds on the clock. 10 seconds on the clock. Everything is running down into shambles. That stretcher. Tapping it in. Oh, another grab from Godcast. Dello intercepting the ball. Does he get the last shot? Yes, he does. Dribble moves, and it ends the game. Desync with another win. 6 points for them directly. Beautiful game. Unfortunately, that was the last for tonight. Beautiful games here. Desync versus Shenanigans. Desync taking the lead. That's it for tonight, folks. See you guys in the next one. God bless. Keep you guys safe. See you guys in the next one. Peace.